Hi everybody. Hope your day is going good. All right, so we are doing today applications of quadratics. So what we're doing today, half of the problems are going to be just like the ball throw that we did earlier this week. We have the same equation. It's when we have two different formulas here. We're going to throw a ball and we're going to drop a ball. So dropping a ball means that we're like really high and we're just going to drop it straight down. And then throwing is what we did earlier in the week. So you're going to read the word problem and decide, am I dropping a ball or am I throwing a ball? And then you'll know which equation to use. But the first thing you need to do is to identify like what the equations are and what they mean, like what each part means. So look at the top. And first let's talk about the equation, the dropped object equation. So here's my formula. H equals negative 16t squared plus s. This is dropped. So let's identify some things that you need to know. H is height. Okay. S is initial height. Initial height means like what did you drop it from? Like what was your starting? Okay. Then T is time, obviously, right? Okay, now let's go to throwing an object. And this is the equation we did yesterday. So here it is. The only difference is we've got VT, velocity, speed or rate. Okay, you might as well put an R there. It means the same thing as rate or speed. Remember, S means initial height, not speed. So V is velocity, the rate, how fast the ball is being thrown. Okay? Because one thing about being dropped is you don't like chuck a ball straight down. You just drop it. But when you throw a ball, you provide velocity. You throw the ball, so you are making it go fast. So that adds an extra component to it. This right here is because you're throwing the ball. You're adding something to the ball itself. All right? So have these 4 red things written on your paper. I'll give you a second to copy it down. Okay, so let's get started. Number 1, an engineering student is in an egg dropping drop contest. The goal is to create a container for an egg so it can be dropped from a height of 32 feet without breaking the egg. How long will it take for the egg's container to hit the ground? Okay, there's no air resistance, meaning like the wind is not blowing to make the egg drop faster or something like that. Okay, so we're going to use obviously the dropped equation. Here's the dropped equation. Negative 16t squared plus s. All right, so here we go. So the problem is asking us to find how long. That means time. We are solving for time. Okay, if you look up at the top of your paper, you'll see that it says that you'll set up a quadratic model and solve it using any method. Factoring, quadratic formula, completing the square, or taking square roots, okay? So what we need to do, since we're dropping the ball, we need to use the dropping formula. We don't know the time, but we do know the S. Remember S from before? Initial height. What is the height that we were dropping the egg from? Okay, so we are dropping the egg from 32 feet. So this is going to be our formula. Now, it says, you know how the formula says H equals? Well, we're actually solving it, and we have been talking about this for like 2 weeks. When we're solving for something, we're going to make it equal to 0. Okay? So because we're solving for t, how long? Time. That is what we're solving for pretty much on all these problems. Time. How long? How long? Pretend your t is like your x, okay? So now you have to pick any method that you want to solve this problem. So you kind of need to decide what you want to do. You do whatever method you think is easiest. If you think it'd be easiest to make up the quadratic formula, do it. If you want to factor it, oh, we can't factor it, it's not a trinomial. Okay? Do you want to complete the square? Oh, there's no b, b divided by 2. But I can take square roots of both sides. And what that means is I slowly need to get my variable alone. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to subtract 32 both sides. Then I need to get my t alone. I'm going to divide by negative 16. 2 equals t squared. Okay, so here's what we've got. Square root both sides. Plus or minus the square root of 2. You know how you have two answers, right? Remember that? Two answers. Okay, square root of 2. I'm just going to tell you. The square root of 2 equals 1.41. So here are my answers. Time is negative 1.41 seconds. Or time is positive 1.41 seconds. What do you think? You think it's going to take negative time for the egg to drop or positive time for the egg to drop? Right, positive. It takes 1.41 seconds for the egg to drop. All right. So remember, with these problems, we're either dropping or we're throwing. Second problem. You are competing in the field target event at a hot air balloon festival. You throw a marker down from an altitude of 200 feet toward a target. When the marker leaves your hand, its speed is 30 feet per second. How long will it take the marker to hit the target? First of all, you're throwing. Okay? Doesn't matter that we're throwing it from 200 feet high. We're just standing on top of a structure or a ladder or on a hill or something, okay? But we're throwing it at 30 feet per second. That's velocity. That means we're going to use the throw object equation. Here it is. 0 equals negative 16 t squared plus v. What's our velocity? What's our velocity? How fast? 30. 30 t. Remember, t is like our x. We're solving for time. How long? All right, then S. What was S again? That was me tapping the pencil. No one's at the door. Don't worry. Knock, knock. Sorry. 200. I'm such a dork. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay. So now that I have a trinomial, the best thing to do is you can complete the square. No. I can do quadratic formula. That would be crazy large. I cannot square root both sides. No, can't do that. Okay. So here's a problem that I have. My equation is so big. My numbers are so crazy large. Okay? I kind of don't like that it starts with negative 16, first of all. Okay. So we've got a big problem, obviously. I don't like that the numbers are so big, but we can use the quadratic formula. That's going to be the easiest thing to do. Okay? You're going to get a really large number, but that's okay. I will help you through it. Okay, here's what we've got. We've got A equals negative 16, B equals 30, C equals 200. All right, here we go. Now we're not solving with calculators, so I will tell you what the answer is when you use a calculator, but I'm not requiring you to use a calculator for these, so here is the math problem. X equals negative 30 plus or minus the square root of 30 squared minus 4 times negative 16 times 200 all over 2 times negative 16. All right, here it is. Here we go. So, negative 30 plus or minus the square root of 30 squared is 900. And I will tell you right now what the other part is. Negative 4 times negative 16 times 200 is this. Positive 12,800. All over negative 32. Okay? So, all right, negative 30 plus or minus the square root of 13,700 all over negative 32. Okay, when you solve these two problems out, you'd have to enter it into a calculator. You are going to get that t equals negative 2.72 seconds, and that t also equals 4.59 seconds. Which is more realistic, a negative time or a positive time? Good. So, the marker will hit the target. The target at 4.59 seconds. Now you're realizing like that square root 13,700 is crazy big. You need a calculator to solve these bigger problems. But I'm okay with you just writing the quadratic formula and that be enough, okay? If we're gonna use calculators, I'll let you know on like a future test, but at this point we're not, okay? We're going to skip to number 4. Everybody turn your page to number 4. Okay, you jump off a 15-foot diving board with an upward velocity of 3 feet per second. How long will it take you to hit the water? All right, so here we go. I've got to ask, is your body dropping? Is your body dropping? Drop that body. Or are you throwing your body? If you're on a diving board, are you dropping your body or are you throwing your body on a diving board? Think of the motion of a diving board. What is your body doing on a diving board? It's making an arch. Okay? So, I am I'm throwing my body basically. V is velocity. How fast am I going? Here we go. 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 3 feet per second plus 15. And we solve it out. Okay? Now it starts with a negative 16 squared. Factoring it's kind of out of the question. Quadratic formula is honestly the best way to do it. A equals negative 16. B equals 3. C equals 15. All right, here we go. X equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 3 squared minus 4 times negative 16 times 15 all over 2 times negative 16. Okay. So let me do the math for you. You are going to get negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 plus 969. Okay? All right. All over negative 32. So basically what that means is that I'm going to have negative 3 plus or minus the square root. Okay, one thing, you guys. This is actually 960. Together they make 969. I apologize. So it's going to be negative 3. So fix that real quick on your paper. It's going to be the square root of, 969 all over negative 32. Well, I just did the square root of 969 on my calculator. You can leave it like this. This is okay with me because the numbers are so big. But here's what 969 is. It's 31.1. So I could do this. T equals that, or T equals negative 3 minus 31.1 all over negative 32. Let me do the math for you and tell you what it is. T equals negative 0.8 of a second. It's a negative answer. That's obviously not going to be jumping off of a diving board. Negative seconds. No, that's not it. My other answer when I work this out is 1.06. So 1.06 seconds after I leave the diving board is what I'm going to have. All right, go ahead and copy that down. Okay, so that is the last example we're going to do. I want you to work on the problems on the next page, just setting them up, okay? So I am okay with you leaving them as square roots for, like in the quadratic formula. That is A-okay with me, not a problem at all. If you want to, when you get home, not right now during class, if you want to use a calculator and get the seconds exactly, then you're also welcome to do that. Okay? All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow on YouTube. Yeah.